Welcome to the Little Wins Podcast, where school leaders share their little wins that build strong culture, with your host, Karen Borchert. Hello, and welcome back to the Little Wins Podcast, where we celebrate the small, powerful things school and district leaders do to build strong, joyful cultures for their teams. I'm your host, Karen Borchert. Today, we get to hear from someone who brings heart, humor, and a whole lot of humanity to his leadership. Troy Hopkins is the superintendent of North Stonington Public Schools in North Stonington, Connecticut. It's a small district with just 2 buildings, but big heart. And under Troy's leadership, it's become a place where staff are encouraged to take risks, where students feel known, and where joy is part of the work. Troy has been in education for 35 years. He started as a science teacher, spent many years in school leadership, and now leads his district with a clear belief that culture matters, that risk-taking is essential, and that being visible, even in costume, is part of the job. I can't wait for you to hear this one. Welcome to the Little Wins Podcast, Troy.
All right. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate it.
Great to have you here. Well, let's first start with your district. Tell us a little bit about North Stonington. Take us through your hallways and through your district. Tell us a little bit about it.
Okay. So we're a small district, as you said, in Connecticut. We actually border Rhode Island. We're one town up from the ocean. So there's Stonington just to the south. Different district. People get it confused all the time. They think we're part of that.
Okay.
But we're a small rural farm district, couple nice wineries in town. But we have 750 really eager, friendly students who like coming to school every day. And we're pre-K through 12, so 2 school buildings, the elementary schools, the pre-K through 6, and the middle high school is 7 through 12. We call it Wheeler. It's a really nice place to work and to learn. Staff come here, they stay here for their whole career.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. Well, take us a little bit through your path. So I know you started as a teacher, building administrator, superintendent. Take us a little bit about that through that path.
Yeah. Okay. So, I always loved school as a kid. I think that's part of why I became an educator, so I wouldn't have to leave school. So I just switched my roles.
Yeah.
So I did teach for 15 years, mostly at a high school level. But then became certified principal in Massachusetts, actually, and then moved to Connecticut, became an assistant principal of middle school and high school principal, elementary school principal. I have 2 daughters. I got to be their principal in grade 5 and 3 in the same school
That's
for
very
a year.
Cool.
So that was a really neat experience. But then...
that sounds like a really neat experience for their dad. Was a needed experience for them?
I think it was. Actually, my youngest one had some school anxiety up until she entered grade 3 when her dad was principal. And I think it helped her break out of that, actually. So
that's very cool.
I'm really thankful to have had that experience. But it's better maybe as their high school principal, it wouldn't have worked so well. I was actually the high school principal in that town as well. Anyway, so I'm superintendent now. And, I think in each of my roles, I've looked to have a bigger impact on more people. I'm more removed from working with kids every day, but I feel like I can impact more people by providing teachers and administrators with what they need so that they can educate the kids.
Very cool. And so when did you become a superintendent?
Well, this is I'm just starting my 4th year as superintendent here. And this is my first superintendency, probably last, because this is a place where people stay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. Well, take us into that decision. Do you remember kind of what you felt or what you hoped for as you were stepping into that superintendent role?
Yeah. So, I enjoy making sure kids have opportunities and diverse opportunities that are really going to enrich their lives, right? So, I've seen as a teacher and as a principal, some things that kind of get in the way, red tape, things that happen, like when the central office of a district doesn't function smoothly, then principals and teachers are worried about what the central office is doing, and they can't fully focus on the kids. So if you're worried about a mistake in your pay, okay, then you're focused on that and
Right.
you know, that kind of thing. So my goal was to be as supportive as possible
Oh,
to the principals and the teachers so they can really focus on teaching kids. And that's what I try to do. I mean, nothing's perfect, right? And there's a lot that I wasn't really aware of,
right.
like all the state reports, all the grants that you got to be held accountable for reporting on. And there's just so much paperwork and reporting that
Yes.
ties me to my office at times. So that's the challenge. The challenge is
Yeah.
right there. To get into the school.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's the most joyful part of the job. And it reminds me why I do what I do. So, you know, for example,
Wonderful.
like, you know, when I see the kids learning in their classroom and I see first graders talking about their math reasoning to their peers and it's working and they're confident and they really are grasping it and their peers are learning from them. I mean, that's really powerful. And when I could go and see that, I get more energized, right? And it makes it worth it. When I go to a track meet and I see a kid run a PR time or, you know, throw the shot put further than they ever done before, I feel really good about that. In fact, I have here, this is a picture of the first indoor track team 3 years ago that I supported starting it because there was interest in it, right? So when I go to track meets and I see these kids thrive and have success on something that I was part of, it's just really rewarding. So that's the thing. It's about creating opportunities for kids.
That's awesome. And I happen to recall, I believe that you do not just go and observe what is going on with kids or kind of see what's happening. You are also sometimes go and spend time as a student in the classroom. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. So that's one of the things that is actually the most fun, you're really to go in and be part of the learning. And I started doing that a few years ago in a different position when, you know, sometimes administrator walks into a teacher's room and the teacher gets all nervous. But if you go in without your clipboard, without your laptop, and you just jump in with a group of kids, you start just joining the learning activity and you become one of their students, they're less nervous. And you can actually give them feedback on what it feels like to be one of their learners in their classroom. And I think it's an excellent way to actually do evaluation of teachers. Giving them that feedback from that perspective. And you know what? Then you learn stuff or you get refreshed. You know, I mean, I took the Africa quiz in 6th grade a few months ago at the end of the year, all the countries and capitals. I sat down right with
all the countries and capitals.
Yep. Sit down right with them in the class. A student in front of me, student behind me, student on the side of me. We're all taking it and taking the quiz together. And, you know, I've taken the 2nd grade reading quiz and, you know, other things. And, you know, 5th grade math. All right, give me that. Give me the quiz. Let me take it with the kids and make sure I get my gold star sticker on it. I like to do that. And I think it puts the teachers at ease a little bit. And I think it shows them that I'm interested in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good thing. I think all leaders should be students in their district.
I love that. This is the first time I've ever heard that particular little win or little piece of advice, but to go and be a learner as a superintendent in the classrooms, take the quiz, sit alongside and work alongside students and understand what it's like to be a learner in the classroom. What's something that you have learned from that or that you have learned about your teachers from doing that practice?
I've learned that they're really good teachers.
Yeah.
They're very accomplished and they're working really hard. It's amazing how organized and the amount of planning that goes in to their lessons. And I'm very impressed when I go in and I see all that they have going on, their routines, their transitions, and the reference is posters on the wall, and it's really impressive when you go in and you take a look at what's happening in classrooms. So I can really then speak about it and advocate at Board of Ed meetings, at Board of Finance meetings, and I really know what I'm talking about because I really know what's happening. So I can speak from experience.
Yes.
And real observation.
I love that. I just think that's such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's important to know what's going on. And there's just so much that happens. Every year I try in the convocation, the beginning of the year, I try to inspire people and actually model the risk taking that you mentioned. And I think it's important to model it because you make it okay to do it.
Yeah.
And it's okay if it doesn't go perfectly. Yeah. Go ahead. What did you want to ask me a question about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Tell it. Yeah, we have a little bit of timing, but I wanted to ask about that risk taking. You've mentioned that before as something you hold as a really high value in educators. Again, it's one of the only times I've heard of it. So tell us more about why taking risks is important in education.
All right. So my first year here, convocation, everybody got one of these.
Yep.
All right. So it's a little mini basketball. And the idea is that I want them to, I always connect it to a personal story of mine from the past. Okay. I was a camp counselor one year. I had this kid playing basketball. No one was passing the ball to this kid. He wasn't like fitting in with the other kids really well. Finally, we got the kids to pass him the ball, giving him the opportunity. And he was pretty much under the basket. He went in and he shot it and went right in. So the idea is, the power of providing opportunities for kids and they can succeed. It may have not have, but the point is take your shot. If you're thinking about doing something a little different, don't hesitate. Just do it. And if it doesn't go in, it's okay. You can take the shot again, or you can change it up a little bit and try again. So this was a reminder for them during the year to take the shot. Now, a lot of people, when I'm going around the schools that first year, are like, "Hey, I took my shot. I did this or I did that," and it was nice. Like a topic of conversation throughout the year, and this was a visual reminder. So that was the first year I did that, and I've encouraged people to do other things. My second year, it was more of it didn't go as well as I wanted, but everybody got this little robot because AI became a huge thing, right? And robots going to take over the world. And we had to like calm people down and be like, no, it's not going to be, Terminator, movies where the robot's killing everybody. We can actually use it to give feedback to kids on their writing before you can give them the feedback. So now they're not waiting for you. You got 20 kids to give feedback to, some kids can get it by feeding it into AI, and now they can improve their writing right away.
Yeah.
So I model that, right? And then I tried to talk through this. This is what didn't go through really well because I ordered this and I put my phone on here and I'm like, "Hey Siri, tell me the capital of Illinois," right? Oh, my phone just heard that. All right, so you just told me, but it's going into my I call them my earphones. These actually I have hearing aids, and it directly connects Bluetooth. So she told me it's Springfield. Okay. But I wanted to demonstrate, like, we already have AI here. It's already it's already finishing your texting. It's predicting the word you're about to type, right? And what's the next? So we're already using it. And there's so much that we are not using today that we have available. So that was that one. On the next one, I dressed like this. I came out from behind the scenes. No one knew. Not one of my principals or administrators knew I was doing this. I just came out behind the stage I had a clip of the Flash video. Then I showed it. And it's a video where Flash has to tend to all these needs simultaneously because it can go really fast, And he saved all these people. They're actually babies, He saved them all. No one got hurt. But it's like in a classroom where there's so many needs. And you got to get to all the kids. You got a new kid that just came in for the day. You got another kid that's upset. You got another kid that's saying, I don't have my homework. And you got another couple of arguing or whatever. And you have to, as a one adult, you got to tend to all those needs successfully. And it's hard.
All those needs, yeah.
It's really hard. But we have a goal of efficiency as our goal 3 is efficiency. And so that was all about goal 3. So this year, I gave them this.
Okay.
All right. And then I had them, and this is how I know, like in terms of the culture, like they humor me, but they were really good. And I think it's part of the culture here because I said, everybody hold up your hammer, squeeze it, and say, is there a better way? Is there a better way? Okay. And then, but before I did that, I told the story of when I had to build a deck on my parents' house when I was in my 20s.
Yep.
And I had to hammer in each nail one by one. And sometimes it'd bend, sometimes it'd fly, almost hit me in the eye. I have lactic acid buildup in the arm. It was really hard to focus. I'd hit the thumb once again, right? And it was really painful and dangerous. And I could have built the deck way faster with a nail gun. I didn't have a nail gun. Okay, but we have nail guns today in education. We have better ways to do things. Right? We have AI. We have kids talking about their math reasoning with each other. We have interactive whiteboards. We have document cameras. We have better ways of teaching now than we did in the past. We have project-based learning, high quality project-based learning, right? So think about it when you're about to teach something, squeeze the hammer and say, is there a better way? So I gave you these useless hammers to help you remember to ask that question. So that's what I started with this year.
I love it. It's so memorable. Like how did this come about? It's almost like, do you have a background in theater and music?
Right,
and
so
like,
what I think started it is, way back in time when I was doing my student teaching, Killingly High School in Connecticut. I was teaching biology. I came out from behind a desk with scuba gear on, fins, mask, snorkel, because I was doing a lesson on the ocean, marine life or something. Okay, that's where it started. Okay. And then it kind of took a hibernation for some time, and I didn't really do anything like outlandish, dramatic like that for a long time until probably the COVID pandemic, where I had to run faculty meetings on the screen over Zoom. So each faculty meeting, I'd start with a different hat on. Okay. And it'd be a theme. I'd have a screensaver.
Okay.
And it'd be like a theme. Okay. And I'd start making these videos for the kids, motivating them to keep going and everything. I'd make posters. I'd draw posters and I hold them up. And when they got off the bus, even before the pandemic, I would hold up signs like math problem or just like welcome to school or, hey, happy turkey day. And it'd be a turkey I drew. And I would just pull up a YouTube video on how to draw a turkey. And I just follow it that morning. Yeah. And I became pretty good at following the videos. So then I would be like, hey, it's a poster I made. And they would think it was cool. They'd be like, hey, and I do it one day a week. It'd be like poster Thursday with Friday as a backup. So I started doing it, and I started doing that stuff because I'm thinking, I've been in education for quite some time, and I have to have more fun. And why not? If you're thinking about doing something, just do it. Put it out there. Someone probably is going to appreciate it, right? And I'm going to have fun. And someone, who knows, they could be inspired.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a favorite sign or poster that you ever made for the kids?
Oh, I do have one that actually I put in a video to them. And it was about, the little train that could. And it was trying to get up the hill. And it's I think I can. Right. And that's so I did that when they're at home learning during the pandemic. And I'm like, you know what? I know it's tough. You know what? Your work can be challenging, but you can do it. Yep. And you got to set a goal, but don't look at the top of the hill. Okay. Look just in front of you and get to that point, and then look a little bit further and then get to that point. You take it in small steps. So I produced a video about that with that poster. And I think that's my favorite one. I think I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to go back to what you said about, saying I have to have more fun and having fun. All of these things, the showing up in scuba gear and all of these different things have so much fun associated with them and so much kind of whimsy and all of those things. What do you think is the impact on the culture district wide of you doing those things?
I think it gives people the permission,
yes,
to think outside the box and to be creative and to try new things. And if the superintendent is thinking outside the box, being creative and trying new things, it makes it okay for everybody else to do that, including the kids. So if the kids see their teacher being creative and thinking outside the box, it gives them permission to do it as well. So I think it can have a big impact, and I think it is. Some people probably would say it's having more impact than other people would say. Some people might just say I'm a little crazy, but I think most people they get the point of it. They understand what I'm trying to say. And we're big on professional development here.
Yeah.
If a teacher wants a workshop and we can send them and we can finance it, we'll do it. If it's a national conference, we'll do that too. Because I know how valuable that can be for people to get energized and come back with ideas and networking. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want to end my career.
I love it.
And not have regrets of not doing something that I thought about doing.
Yeah, that's very simple, but it's so clear. And that's, you don't want to wish you tried something out that might have made a difference on your team or for kids or in your schools in some way. I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit more about that leadership approach of yours. I know, you've said to me, people learn best when they understand purpose and see progress. Can you talk a little bit about that and about your leadership approach overall? How do you think about besides having fun, which is so important? How do you think about your approach to leadership?
I think there's the modeling piece. There's the willing to jump in and do the learning with the kids. There's helping people to do whatever they need to do. But I think as a leader, you need to step back and let others lead. Okay. And I've had that happen to me a couple times in my career where it's been like a light bulb for me. And it was once was here and once was a different place, but I don't always have to be the one to organizing the work. Yeah. Because if I'm always doing it, I'm actually denying other people that opportunity, and that helps develop their leadership ability, their capacity to be leaders. And we have a lot of teacher leaders in this district, and it's real important to do that. I've actually mentored several new principals in my career, and it's a really rewarding experience. But you're not doing the work for them. You're advising, you're giving them some ideas or whatever, but they're doing the work, and it's neat to see someone do the work and succeed. We had a technology committee in the fall. My IT director actually resigned in October, and we didn't really have a sustainable technology plan. We had to pull a big, large committee together. So I had all this plans and agenda, how it should go. But I realized in the meeting, hey, this is not working the way I want because I'm leading it. I need to step back. And I let a few other people kind of just take over and lead it, and they got it done. And they did a great job. Yeah. And I was just kind of a member of the committee, but I wasn't leading the committee anymore.
Right.
So it's part of leadership is letting others lead. You got to assume, you got to make sure they have what they need to do it, and you can support them. But that's what you have to do. And you need a next generation of leaders. And it's not going to happen
Yeah.
if you don't give them opportunity.
Right. Right. What do you see change in an individual that you're mentoring or that you've given an opportunity to lead? How do you see them change as professionals when you do that, or when they get that opportunity? What changes in their building or in their work?
Well, I think what happens clearly is they gain that experience and they learn from it. And usually it's at least somewhat successful, often a lot successful, and they gain confidence. They gain confidence in that. And people in education, and all people, I think, want their leaders to have confidence and to exude some confidence, right?
Absolutely.
So I think I think that's a big piece of it. And not only that, but when I step back and I allow others to lead, it creates more buy-in for whatever we're going to do, more ownership of the ideas that are coming up. And we have this sustainable technology plan. I had a couple of the leaders come to the Board of Ed and present it. I did not present it. And then the Board of Ed, they bought in and they funded it with budget. Plus they had a non-lapsing account and they spent a ton of money in the non-lapsing account buying like 32 new teacher laptops that were from 2014 just to get us up to speed. And then we have other ones in the budget for the sustainable piece. And new smart boards, same thing. They brought some out of non-lapsing, some budget. So we had to replace switches for the internet, cameras. Yeah. So we're willing to fund all this when we showed them we have a complete, comprehensive plan that I didn't create.
And that it has buy-in. Yeah, that it has buy-in from
many teachers from both buildings on it. So that has buy-in. We're removing desktops from teachers' classrooms and they're getting laptops with docking stations now. And people are okay with it because they had input.
Because they had input. Yep, that's exactly right. That's very cool. I love that. I want to ask you about another thing I know that you've talked about before. Tell me about. I think you write letters to families. Is that right?
I occasionally write letters to families, like before school letter, or if something like is going on in the world and I feel like it needs to be addressed, I'll write a letter about that. Or I write to the North Stonington Quarterly. I write an article 4 times a year for that as well.
Really? Yeah. Why do you do that? What does that do from the perspective of your role?
Well, so the quarterly thing is, I inherited that. Like the past superintendent was doing that. So when I became like, hey, time to submit an article. The superintendent always submits an article. Okay, so but what I do I try to write something that is useful to people, not just like everybody. It's just something everybody can relate to. For example, last fall, there was quite heated discussions over a national election, right?
Okay.
And there was strong feelings all over on this, right? So I wrote a little piece kind of saying, hey, whatever happens, we're all still working together. We're all getting along and we're one learning community, right? But I compared it to Red Sox versus Yankees, which are two baseball teams locally who have a rivalry, right? And I said, you know what? Whatever team you're rooting for, one team's going to win, one team's going to lose. And some people are going to be elated and other people might be heavily disappointed. But you know what? We're all going to have to move on. But let's please be sensitive to how other people feel during this. So this came out before the election, this article. And I was trying to be helpful to the community because it was such, well, nationally anyway, I don't know about so much locally. It wasn't so divisive. Locally. Okay, but very divisive and potentially. So I wanted to kind of just put it out there. Well, also though, in the schools itself, you have kids coming in.
Yeah.
Right. And they have opinions. Right. So I need to address that. I need to address it with staff as well at the beginning of the year. Like, hey, you know what? You don't let kids know your political stance and where you lean or what candidate you may or may not support. You just don't talk about that. Now, you could talk about issues, but they should not know who you're voting for. Because it's not fair. It's not fair to the kids to tell them that. It's not fair to the families. because you're an influential adult in their lives. And you know what? That's if the families want to talk about that and share who they're voting for with their kids, that's up to them. Okay. You don't have that right as a teacher.
Right.
So I needed that.
Right.
I felt, and I was told it would be helpful if I clarified that. So I listened and I did that.
That's great. That's wonderful. One of the things I love talking with leaders about are books that had a big influence on their life and the things that have influenced you. You mentioned one that I hadn't heard of before, which is
probably on my shelf.
Yeah, I think it's on your shelf. I imagine it probably is.
Yeah, probably. I don't know if I put it back up there. Oh no, where is it? Oh, there it is. Look at it. There it is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Here we go. All right. Tell us about this book.
Okay. So this very influential book, I think after I read this, I said, you know what? I'm going to become an administrator. Or at least I'm going to get my license in case I want to use it. Right. I always think about it's good to keep doors open for you. Right.
Yep.
This is about ZAP and education. ZAP is basically the energy that you could exude and goes into someone else's body. And now they're more energized after interacting with you than less energized, right? Now, the opposite of that is SAP, right? After you interact with someone, if they're defeated and they're like tired, fatigued, and more so than before you had that conversation with them, you just sapped them, okay? And that's not what you want to do. You want to have a school where people are zapping each other, not sapping each other. So this book compares two middle schools, one of each.
Okay.
Right. So when I read that, I was inspired to be a zapper, not a sapper. Because some of my colleagues earlier in my career were sappers. Right. Yep. And then I realized I cannot spend time around these people. I could be nice to them. I could have a quick conversation with them, but I'm not hanging out with them. I'm not living with them. I'm not going out with them. You know,
you're not building a team of them.
What's that?
And you're not building a team made of them, right?
You know, I know, right. And you don't want to hire, you don't want to hire sappers. Right. So you got to figure out how do you hire zappers, right? So anyway, I think.
So how do you?
Well, the thing is, sappers, I think, can become zappers.
Yep.
I think it can happen. With sometimes a lot of effort. Sometimes it's just a little inspiration. And I think all of us, it's not like one or the other. I think all of us can have weak moments and we could sap the energy out of somebody.
Sure.
In a moment, whatever's going on with us, we can do that to somebody. I think it happens. We're all human, right?
Yep.
But we want to be aware of it. And I think it's real important for new teachers to have colleagues that are more experienced that will zap them, not sap them.
Okay. Yeah. What does that look like in practice? Tell me, tell me when you see it and you're like, that is zapping in progress.
Well,
what does that look like?
Right. So it doesn't look like a teacher saying to a younger teacher, hey, you're staying at school too long. You're making us look bad. You need to get out of here.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That happened to me early in my career.
Okay.
The zap does not look like that. That's sap.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
What it does look like is, hey, here's some ideas that I'm going to use in my classroom. I thought I'd just share with you in case it's useful to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Sharing some ideas. When I was a teacher, a science teacher, partly right after I read this book, I pulled a group of teachers together. I offered to everybody. I said, hey, anybody want to just get together and share tricks of the trade? Then I had a group of people that were interested, and I looked at each one of them and I said, you know what, Carrie, you're really good at organizing your lessons. So can you come and do a little lesson for the group on organization of your lessons? And you, Karen, are really good at classroom management. Can you come and prepare a little lesson for the group on classroom management?
That's wonderful.
And we kind of did it that way. And we used people's strengths to share tricks of the trade, and we all benefited in the group.
Yep.
To do it.
Yep.
And when I did that, and I realized that the people that participated, actually, they got a lot out of this. They got ideas from each other. Plus, they got to share some of what they were good at. And that was that's a zap. That's zapping each other. And so when I realized you could do stuff like that, I thought I could do more stuff like that as an administrator.
Very cool. I love it. I love that. There's so much good there. Now I've got to read this book. So that's going to be,
it's an old one. I mean, it's copyright. I got it at a bookstore a long time ago. 1992 it was written. So I think I got my, I got my second master's in 1996 in educational leadership. Okay. So I read this and then I probably entered the program soon after.
Very cool. I love it. All right. And there's so much good here. I've learned so much, and honestly, this has been one of the more fun conversations we've ever had on the show, and also the most props we've ever had on the show. So that's really fun. Great. We always wrap up the podcast with 3 questions for every guest. Are you ready? Are you ready for those 3 questions?
I am.
The lightning round. Okay, here we go.
Give it to me.
Okay, I'm going to take my shot. All right. First one, what are the 3 words that you want to define your district culture?
Okay, so you might not be surprised with the first one.
I always try to guess them in my mind.
Okay, it's fun.
Yep, okay. That was my guess.
The second one is empowered.
Okay,
for adults and kids.
Yes.
All right. Empowered to be creative, to think outside the box, to take your shot. And the last one would be future focused. Because we're preparing kids for right now, for their life now, but also for their life in the future.
Yep.
And if they don't have certain skills, it's going to be more difficult for them. If they don't know how to communicate, collaborate, if they don't know how to have some AI skills, it's going to be harder for them to get a job.
Yep.
So that's what I mean by future focused. We can't ignore what's going to happen in the future. Great. Even though we don't really know.
Yep.
We can't ignore it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. I love those. Fun, empowered, and future focused. Those are excellent. I guessed fun. That was good. I thought you were going to say risk taking, but
empowered includes risk taking.
That's true. Love it. I love it. Okay. Second question. What is one little win that you have had at work lately that we can celebrate for you today?
Okay. So I have a couple that I could share. One is we just did a new teacher orientation last week, right? And there's only 5 teachers. But I sat with them, went over goals. My director of learning instruction went over some things with them. But later, we got them lunch and I wasn't at the lunch, but I walked in and I see the 5 of them sitting at a round table together with 2 of their mentors, having lunch, socializing, laughing, and really enjoying each other's company.
Oh, I love it.
That's was great. Really neat. And the other one I'd share it quickly is we had convocation and we decided we'll recognize people for years of service. So we recognize a bunch of people and gave them little pins for 25 years, 30 years. We have a custodian who we called up, has been here for 47 years.
No way.
Standing ovation. Everybody was smiling. It was a real feel-good moment. The way to start the school year, to recognize him for 47 years service as custodian. Interestingly, as I came from my meet and greet when they hired me as superintendent, I met him on the sidewalk, first person I met other than the Board of Education, and had a quick conversation with him. So it was really cool to recognize him in front of the whole staff, beginning of the year.
Love it.
And
I love
it was
that.
Great. And you could tell he really appreciated it, didn't expect it, and everybody felt good about it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you shared both of those, because those are both worth sharing. That's great. Okay. Third question. Last one is, what do you believe that any educator can do to improve their school or district culture right now?
I really believe as hard as it is to do, because you get locked in your office with all the reports and paperwork and all that, the management stuff that has to get done. You have to immerse yourself into the learning in the district.
Yep.
you have to become part of the learning so that the students and the teachers and the principals see that you're there and you understand what they're doing, what the work and the learning that they're doing is. And I think that's one of the biggest pieces of advice. I think if you immerse yourself in the learning, and it's not just the kids learning, it's the adult learning. So professional development days, you have to show up to the workshops. And you might not be able to stay the whole time, but you should stay for a while to get a feel for it and to learn some of what the teachers are learning. And I think that's it. So you really have to immerse yourself in the learning, and it's the learning of the kids and the adults.
Love it. I love that. Like I said, you're the first person we've ever had on who has joined student classrooms and taken the countries and capitals of Africa quiz as part of their work as a superintendent. I think that's such a great example. I've told it to several people actually, because we talked about it before, but I love it. There's so much that we have learned here, and so many little wins, so many things that anyone can do as a leader. So we've learned about how to have more fun, how to be zappers and not sappers, how to experience your school and district truly as a learner. We've learned about peer-led professional development lessons that are both educational and also let your leaders lead even further. Standing ovation for your custodian, and then the power of a basketball, a robot, a hammer, and some scuba gear. We have heard so much, and it's been just absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing so much with us and for your leadership and your work, and wishing you the very, very best and most fun year ahead. Have a little win? We'd love to hear from you. Learn how we help schools build strong culture at getalpaca.com.